I think it clicked the live button already. So how's everybody doing? I'm down here at West Tech Performance. Obviously, that's why I'm using my phone here and in my truck. In fact, now the guys are done doing work on these landscaping out here. I can roll the windows down because it's a beautiful day. So hopefully all you guys are doing good. I'm down at West Tech Performance. Who needs a camshaft? I'm down here cleaning out my storage. Trucks going by down here cleaning out my storage so that I can bring some of that stuff home and get rid of it. I just need to get it out of my storage. And I've got a lot of things that have been sitting there for a while, so I want to try to get rid of some of that stuff. I've got a variety of bunch of different camshafts, lots of LS stuff, got some Gen 3 Hemi stuff. Let's see what else. Might be some small block Ford and Chevy stuff. Not very much if I have any of that. I have some, I think I've got one 400M cam that I found, so somebody's looking for that. I got a lot of I basically have all of the stock LS cams. I don't know why anybody would be looking for stock LS cams, but I would like to get rid of those too. Those would be super cheap. And then obviously I also have the Truck Norris and the Lowbuck, or I should say the Lowbuck truck, and the one step above that, the 219 cam. Got a few of those still, so those are available. If you guys are looking for good deals on stuff, let me know. And when I bring all that stuff back after I'm done testing, I can get all of that stuff, out to you guys and without a problem. Anybody that's already ordered a cam, those should be going out shortly. So we'll get you guys all taken care of. And then once I get all of that stuff and have all of that stuff where it's not sitting in my storage and I have it, that stuff can all go out right away. So that will be much better. So you guys let me know. I'm down here at West Tech. I'm going to be doing some dyno testing. I'm going to be running I have the ported blower now from the guys at Jokers. Shout out to the guys at Jokers. Thanks for sending that out. Putting that blower back together and putting it back on the Demuse Engineering adapter plate. We'll run that on the high ram on the LS. I just need to do the cam swap because the last time I was testing it, we were running the Gen 3 blower on it with a smaller Elgin cam. And I kind of wanted to see what the little blower, or the earlier blower, had to offer, because it's a Gen 3 blower, and also because it has a much smaller throttle body. So I just kind of wanted to see how that did. So I ran a bunch of tests on that with a smaller camshaft, kind of more indicative of what a guy might have if he was trying to run something, on a he's got a mild street application. So we kind of wanted to show what's going on with that. So I did that test, but now I've got to put the bigger camshaft, the Brian Tooley Racing. We ran the Stage 4 LS3 camshaft in there that made a lot of power, and that helps the blower. If you can make the naturally aspirated motor, that much more efficient NA, then it helps with the blower. They don't do well. These roots blowers don't do well when you run them at higher pressures, so this helps bring the pressure down on the M90. Not that it's going to produce a whole bunch on a motor that's that big anyways, but when we're up over 600 horsepower, which we have been in the past, good things are going to happen when we port the blower, because it definitely wants more airflow going through that blower. How much more is we're restricting it on the other side of that, and then the rotor pack becomes a problem. There are lots of things that are going on, but it would be cool to see what happens if we can get, I don't know, maybe we can get 650 or something out of it. Also, I would like to take a look at the last time we ran it with the guys. Shout out to the guys from TIC Performance with their air-to-water intercooler, which I love. It's worked very well. I'll probably be using that on a lot of stuff, on other things like turbo stuff and things like that. But running it on this, the last time we ran it, the opening in the blower adapter plate was too small. So it's not too small. It's just too close basically to the blower. So we weren't using, or too close to the intercooler. So we weren't using all of what the intercooler had to offer. So we're going to space that up a little bit and improve that. The guys from ATI sent me a damper, and I can pin the damper, so that will be a much better deal. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious to see what happens if we can get the right, get the right belt on there with the ported blower and stuff. Who knows? We'll see what kind of power we guys can make. You guys can let me know. I can't run a poll, but let me know how much power you think it's going to make when we put all that stuff together on the LS. The most it's made so far, to give you guys an idea, 615 horsepower. So we're hoping it at least does that, and your fingers crossed, and that it does more. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna run the same pulleys on it, although I think I'm gonna measure the ATI damper versus the truck damper, which is what we've been running. We've been running a 6-rib truck damper this whole time, and I'm gonna see what happens when we, you know, hold the two up to each other. I want to see how much bigger, if they're the same size, or if one of them's bigger, we need to obviously adjust for the change in ratio there. I'm kind of hoping that the ATI damper is a little bigger. You know, if that's bigger, then we're, you know, spinning the blower faster, but not having to put a small blower pulley on there, which that's really kind of where the slip comes from. And so we can make adjustments to, you know, can put different idlers on there and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that. I also got lots of cool stuff. The guys from Tech sent me a tri-power setup. They didn't send the manifold yet though, so I'm waiting for that. They sent a tri-power setup and a dual quad setup, so hopefully we'll get to test that. I don't know if I'll get to test that this time. You know, limited time, limited dyno time. Time is valuable, all that. What else do we have? The guys from Mazir, who are great, which we use their stuff all the time, sent out a water pump, which I'm going to do a deal on my truck, and we got the Flexolite electric fan setup for my truck, so we're going to do that. But I need to get my truck working properly and figure out which I'll do while I'm down here, figure out the ground issue, because even now the thing wants to sometimes not start in the morning. All I got to do is wiggle it around and then it starts. I cleaned I've got a little Dremel tool, cleaned the battery posts, cleaned dipped everything in baking soda, hit them with a little grinder, made sure that they're all smooth, that there's no rust or electrolysis or anything going on there. I'm thinking what might be happening it seems like on the power side is that I'm thinking the lug almost feels like it's bottoming out and not really tightening the power wire going to the battery. So I'm gonna try a washer on there and see if that does it. Otherwise I may be forced to get another wire set or another battery. We'll have to see. I kind of would like a battery that has dual posts on it so that I can run stuff off of the other post also if I want to do a ton of grounds everywhere. So hopefully I'll be able to get that situated. I also want to take the intake manifold off, and I just want to check and make sure that the ground's on the back of the head. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to grind all of them so that we have good contact, put some dielectric grease on there, and make sure all the grounds are good, and then get the check engine light off, make it so that this thing is not pulling timing all the time, and get it working like it's supposed to, so that I know that when I'm driving it not only has the correct air fuel, which it'll do under cruise and closed loop, but it also has the right amount of timing so that we get a real estimation on fuel mileage, and that we're not hurting our chances of improving the fuel mileage when we do the test and run the electric fans and run the Mazir electric water pump, which I'm very excited about. So all that stuff is very cool. What else have we got? I've got the guys from Performance Design sent a couple of intake manifolds that I can run on this 5.3, so we can do and the guys from Fast also sent an LSX HR similar to the Performance Design piece, so tunnel ramish kind of thing with adjustable runners on it, which is very cool. So hopefully we'll get to try that. So lots of cool stuff. There's no shortage of stuff to test. There's just shortage of time and finances to get it done. But we'll keep. And the other thing I did today was mocked up an M90 on the 350 Pontiac, and so I could hopefully, what I want to do is, the guys from TorqueStorm sent me a setup to run the TorqueStorm on the Pontiac 350. I'd like to run that on there and run it at 7 pounds or whatever, and then also run the M90. I think the TorqueStorm probably is going to do better. It's got more power potential, certainly a lot more power potential than the M90 does. I just think I'm just doing it for coolness, basically. We want to see if it will make. We want to see if it will, just what kind of power will it make, and I'm going to run the carburetor on top of the M90 just because it makes life easier. We're not going to run it fuel injected, so that will be a lot easier. But I've made an adapter setup that I think will work. Just, you know, it's just drilling a couple holes and stuff. Get that on there. The hardest thing about all of that is going to be making something for the belt and tensioner. I have the pulley and the crank pulley and the blower pulley, have that all situated. But now I need to route the belt and go, okay, well, I've got to go around this, or because there's no accessories on there. There's just the crank pulley and the water pump pulley, and we just put a belt on there and loop that, and then it drives the factory water pump. So I just need to figure out a tensioner setup for the M90 on there, because I want to run it with the serpentine, and I have a serpentine lower crank pulley for it. What I've done is pretty cool. Is adapted a Torque Storm 5-liter Mustang lower crank pulleys. so thank you guys to the Torque Storm guys for their stuff, which allows me, and I'm gonna put their bracket on there for the Torque Storm and see if I can incorporate also their tensioner. So we'll see. We'll see if all that works out. But, you know, like I said, lots of cool stuff. Let's see what you guys got going on. Oh, we got lots of, man. Yo, what's going on? LS2. I've done lots of LS2 stuff. All those videos up on the channel. Love to have some cams. We got some cams. So send me an email, and I'll put my email in the description of this video. So send me an email, and if you're interested in a cam, definitely need Gen 3 Elm 7 cam. You need a stock one. I got lots of stock ones of those. Aaron, what's going on? If it's for an LT, I don't have any. I might have one LT cam. Australia's in the house. I have my car on jack stands because the new Dana axle shafts don't fit the splines on the diff. Both are 31, with different diameter. That's a bummer. Richard, let me know if you come across any Gen 1 OE roller step nose. So, but you don't want a factory cam, right? You want a performance cam? For a truck cam, I do have that. I do have those. 5.3, I have a 210, 230. I want the next step up. It's still streetable if you have anything. I have a truck Norris, which will make more power than that. And then I also have a 219 cam. Both of those would be good. Any single plane LS carb intakes? Nope, I don't have any of those. I like the firing order big buck Chevy cam. Truck Norris, I've got lots of those. Dibs on the truck Norris and lifters. I don't have any lifters. I do have some small block Ford lifters, some small block Ford hydraulic roller lifters. I have, I think I have link bar lifters and the drop-in ones. What intakes do you have? Rec ports. I don't have any rec port intake manifolds. Need a cam for the Vortec. I don't have any of those. I think all I have is a stock cam for that. TSB stage 3 turbo cams. Nope, don't have any of that. But if you have a 5.3, you shouldn't put that in there. Just emailing you back when this popped up. And stock cams are good to make man cave garage art. A small block Chevy blower. I don't have any of those. Well, technically I do. I have a Torque Storm small block Chevy setup, but the Torque Storm I use a whole bunch. Gen 5 big block Chevy 540 build, looking for mid-range, tons of torque, 6,500 RPM max. I don't think I have any flat tap at big block Chevy cams. What's up? Just joined. Did you have any XM HR Gen 6? I might have 1 or 2 Gen 6 big block Chevy cams. Looking for a blower for an L83. Nope, don't have any of that. Yep, live from the truck. Small block Chevy and big block Chevy cams. Is a 6-liter and a 2002 cop car better than an Escalade, or basically the same? They're the same. A 6-liter and a Caprice? Sent you some money yesterday on PayPal for the Truck Norris cam. I'll get a notification when it ships. Yes, you will, Adam. Did you make sure, Adam, did you make sure to include your shipping address and what cam you wanted on the PayPal order? Did you know starting an engine on engine stand without coolant destroys the rings instantly, according to the YouTube comments? I've destroyed lots of motors then. I sent you 400 roses. That's good. Lisa will love that. Truck Norris cam, the low buck truck is $169 shipped. I know I've got a Chupacabra cam too. I used one of those. Finished my first LS build for a drag car, and when I went to my put the balancer on, I noticed a tiny bit of crank key sticking out, so the balancer won't be able to bottom out. I've never heard of that. There's a little bit of the crank key is sticking out past the lower crank gear. It shouldn't. It should bottom out. The damper should bottom out against that. So you can't break in a camshaft without the water pump spinning. My name is Earl. Rattle can add 200 horsepower. I think there's a ground on the frame under your seat that messes with a lot of stuff on the truck. Yeah, and there's also one that goes up under the front, somewhere under the front bumper area. And then obviously there's some attached to the block. They run from the main ground feed from the battery right to the block. And then there's one, at least one on the back of the head that runs up to the firewall, I think. I think he pretty much topped out the M90 over 600, maybe 650. About to be picking up an 06 4.8 Silverado 2-wheel drive. I'd like to have one of those. What would you consider the best bang for the buck modification for the power? Well, you can put a turbo on it. A turbo is going to cost more than a cam, but it's going to add a lot more power than a cam. Harley, happy to help, man. If my rotating assembly has been previously balanced, do I need to change the rods to ones that each weigh 23 grams more? Do I need to rebalance it? Yes, just matching the rod weight is not going to do it. I don't think. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask the balance shop. Maybe not. Need a mild 540 cam hydraulic roller. I've got a buddy of mine that's selling a 540, an AFR headed 540. It's a World Products block, Dominator, Super Victor, roller rockers and stuff on it. I think he's wanting around 11 grand for it. I think it made 760 or 770 on the dyno. So if anybody's interested in a 540 like that, let me know. It has the starter and distributor and wires and all that stuff. Some of these trucks have a weird ground gang plug that corrodes, usually on the inner fender. It's 4.8 high RPM solid roller. I don't think you need to do that. 210, 230, I need an upgrade. The 219 cam would be an upgrade for that. I'll have to check and see if I have any small block Ford cams. I don't have any red hot cams. I'll take a Truck Norris. Okay, you just got to send it over to PayPal. Looking for an LS3 somewhere around 228, 240. I don't think I have anything that big. I might have some 226 stuff. Any recommendations on a cam for a stock PI 462 valve? For me, I wouldn't go any bigger than the 262 comp cam. There might be some other people that have cams for that. I just have never tested them. Anything for high RPM? I don't know. I have to look and see. I don't know if I have any high RPM cams. Most of them are street cams. Small block Mopar single plane intake for high RPM build. Nope, don't have any of those. Kevin, you use my email address and go to PayPal. Any of the TSP chop monsters? Nope. That's what was advertised in 2012. Caprice 6 liter. I didn't even know that they put LSs in Caprices. Any NSR Truck Norris cams? I don't think so. Good cam for a 6 liter with 706 heads and an S10. It again depends on not either one of those. It depends on how much power you want to make, what RPM you want, what kind of idle speed you know, what kind of drivability you want. Richard's favorite big block cam, a 300. That's actually a solid roller. The 300 BR14 is a solid roller. Chupacabra is a decent street cam. Yeah, it's like the Truck Norris. No BTR hot rod cams, no 459s. Any retrofit stuff to make a Gen 5 big block Chevy a hydraulic roller? I don't think I have any roller cams, any hydraulic roller cams for big blocks. Definitely bigger than stock, but not so big that hurts stuff. Yep. Richard, I tuned in late. Are you manufacturing cams? No. I remember in a previous episode you mentioned making cams. Yeah, that was a while ago. I do have new cams available. How fast can you safely spin an 80s 350 stock crank? As far as you want. You're not going to be able to spin it very fast in what you have. It's not going to make any power up there. It's going to valve float way before you run into RPM problems. The most chop you got, carb swap, so 108 or so LSA is okay. Yeah, the carburetor and the EFI don't care about that. Mike, I have a 219 cam. I know I have those in stock. 413 marine intake is heavier than cast head, but it's working fantastic. What non-VT, so 03 to 08 Hemi camshafts do you have? I'll have to take a look. I've got some. I know I've got a 273. I might have a 260. 347. I don't know if I just don't know if I have any Ford stuff. Dalton, I don't know what a stage 2 NSR cam is, but I know I don't have one. I have a Chupacabra 9 line. I'm down at West Tech doing dyno testing, but I'm also picking a bunch of stuff up for my storage. So I got a bunch of cams I'm going to get rid of. Tom, I did find all the boxes. I went through all of that stuff, and the guys from West Tech, thank you for the the guys that drink beer for the bottle openers. Those are very, very cool. And I'm mocking stuff up now, but obviously we're the test that I'm doing is the single ported blower right now. The Trailblazer SS setup, 5300 SUV. It's happy, good. Yep. Looking to try to make 700 horsepower and torque with a Gen 5 big block 540 bottom end. Needing all the top stuff. Are you doing that with boost? Because you're not going to be anywhere near. Oh, 540. Okay, I was going to say I was thinking a Gen 5, like 454. I'm like, you're not going to make 700 horsepower with a stock bottom end. Not because it won't do that. We know that it will with boost. But if you're trying to do it NA, you're going to run into some. Watkins Motorsports. Where do those trucks go by? I can't write in my email address, but I'll put it in the description. We have cams called Sloppy Stage 2, Sloppy Stage 3, Truck Norris, Chupacabra. What specs would a cam be for us to name it the wrong cam? All of those qualify for being the wrong cam. In case you find out about the rotating assembly, mind me emailing you so I can find out. About what rotating assembly? Supercharger cams for LS3. Yes, every cam is a supercharger cam. I got lots of those. Any cheap Boost 4.8 cams? Yeah, how's $169 ship sound? I have a custom 273 grind, so you have something a little smaller, let me know. Okay. Is it safe to run a flat tap at camshaft again? Are people wiping them out regularly still? I don't know about new stuff. I've had good luck with all the flat tapping stuff I've run. Just hearing about problems with flat tapping cams. Got any cams for 5th gen LT? I might have 1 or 2 L83 cams. 224, 230-ish cams. I probably have something like that. Make sure you add your email. I've never bought anything from you before, unfamiliar with the process. Yeah, you're just going to use my email, go to PayPal. This is what everybody is doing right now until I get the website set up. I got the valve springs, Aaron. I have them sitting on top of the Magnum right now. An LT4 cam will be nice. If anybody needs, is anybody looking for the iron LT1 or L99 heads? Westech has a whole bunch of them that they might be scrapping. So let me know if you guys need any of those. And ETA and ship times? Yeah, it should happen any day now, and I'll send you guys all out tracking numbers. All of your money is still just sitting there. None of that gets touched till after everything gets shipped. I think I got a few cams going out. I have a 2000 model 6-liter 706 heads, wanting to do a cam, wanting something that I can daily drive. What cam do you recommend? Perry, I would get this. I would get one of these low buck Truck Norrises. That would be good for that. I was wondering if it would handle 6,500. You're not gonna have a problem with the crank. That's the least of your worries. You have valve train problems, and a 268 cam is not gonna make power at a 268 cam, and a 350 is not gonna make power at 6,500. I mean, it's gonna make peak power. I'm just saying it's gonna make peak power way lower than that. ZZ4 cam. I don't think I have any of those. Selling any LS time cert kits? Nope, I don't have any of those. Any LS valve springs? Could use a set for a Truck Norris I purchased. I don't know. I'll have to take a look and see. I don't think I do, but Brian Tooley has a bunch of, and Summit have, both of those guys have, beehives that are inexpensive for that. Get away! How many cams do I think I have? I don't know. There's probably 20 or 30 used cams there. I just looked at the video description and didn't see your email because I haven't put it there yet. I'll do it at the end of the video. Would L83 cams, you might have work on an LT1? Yeah, the LT1 is going to be a better camshaft than the L83 already, but the aftermarket ones I have should make more power. Zoo Truck, yeah, just send me an email. Yeah, and I put my email down on other cam videos where we've talked about this. Troy, I don't know. You'd have to. I don't know for sure. You need to call a balance shop and ask them. No Oldsmobile stuff. I've never even run one. Winston, you want the LT stuff, the heads that they have? I don't know about small block Chevy. I'm still going through that. Richard, I'm planning a turbo build, a BMW M30B32 build. I don't know what that is, but the engine is slightly oversized, 0.2 liters. A GTX 3071R, how much power are you trying to make? You're trying to make 480? I think that turbo will get there. Will I get notification when my order ships? Yes, everybody will. Everybody will get a notification and a tracking number. AT&T tried to advertise. Looking for Victor Jr. rectangular 4150. Nope, don't have any of those. I might have a dual plane LS. Yeah, Sean. So yeah, check it out. I'll see. I can ask Brian how much cam it took to make more power than the LT1 cam. Yeah, Perry, I have those cams, and they're 169 shipped. Chupacabra is 175. Is a dual feed single pump carb enough for a 5.3 with a sloppy stage 2 cam? Just seems like it's not getting enough fuel. Sounds good, but it doesn't move. Well, you really need an air fuel meter to determine whether or not that's the case. But a single feed carburetor has more than enough fuel flow. So that's I mean, you're talking about somewhere between 400 and 450 horsepower on a 5.3 with that camshaft in it. And a single feed carburetor will flow more than enough in the fuel bowls. Do you see the fuel bowls not having fuel in them? Super Ram or mini Ram stuff? No. Any cams for a 5-liter roller motor? Maybe, I don't know yet. Ever tested dual single carb tunnel ram on an LS? Not on an LS, mostly because they didn't have a single carb lid for the high ram. I mean, I could make one, but just watched your 268 video, 5500 max. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's not gonna I mean, that's a 224 cam. I think it's not gonna make power that high up. And if you have a dual plane manifold and you have stock heads, it's not going to want to rev. You could get a little bit more RPM if you wanted it. Personally, I wouldn't do that on that combination, but you could put a carb spacer on it. Weather's getting better in Ohio. I need to go grab the GLH. I know it's beautiful here. It's like 70 here, I think. It's nice. You should post a list somewhere. I don't know all of them that I have, and I'm probably not going to do that. I probably will have a list and I'll do this on the live feed. I'll always have the cams that most people need for an LS, the low buck truck. And the 219 cam, it's, for guys that wanting, not very many people are going to want less cam than that. There will be guys that want more cam than that. Personally, if I was doing a turbo, I probably wouldn't go any more than either one of those cams on a 5.3, and on a 4.8, I would not go any bigger than that. Yeah, David, just send me an email. I answer all the emails. All the emails and all the comments. I've got one of the Harbor Freight rolling carts, just full of stuff. I'm sure it's the timing on the MSD, not sure how to match timing with the map sensor. You know what I would do is I would get rid of the map sensor. If you just get rid of the map sensor and have the thing only work off of RPM, just get it running right, and that's really, really easy. And then later on work on the map. Do you prefer bottom end torque versus top end RPM? You mean universally? It would depend on what I'm trying to achieve. For a stock truck application, I would rather have more low-speed power, but for Bonneville or for a race motor, a road race motor or a drag race motor, I probably would have more top speed or more or high RPM. How much of a power difference do you see using a stock cam gear and an adjustable cam gear allowing retard or advance on an LS? Are you talking about a VVT situation? And are you talking about a stock cam and a stock gear? Because that allows the maximum amount of VVT. If you go to an aftermarket cam, you usually have to limit the amount of VVT that you do because you just don't have piston to valve clearance. Richard, I sent you my address, my address to your Instagram so you can get a freight quote. Okay. Funny bike. Yeah, you can. Okay, I'm going to send you over a message in just a little bit. Because I'm down here, I got the stuff. I'm running the sloppy best cam on a 6-liter with 706 heads. Any suggestion on valve springs? Yeah, you need something that is enough for 600 lift. You can do a single beehive spring with that. Lots of guys have those. Or you can do a dual spring. 230 mongoose heads, Forge 408, 85 102, high ram, 6-speed, 1500 wheel horsepower. What cam? You can do that with a stage 3 turbo cam. Really, you can do that with hundreds of different camshafts. Because the turbo is going to dictate what you're doing. No big block Chevy heads. Any nitrous stuff for EFI or carb 4150? Yeah, I do have some nitrous stuff. I have EFI nitrous stuff and I have carbureted nitrous stuff. I should have been emailing you questions for years now. Yep. Why the fire sale? What are you trying to buy? I'm not trying to buy anything. I'm trying to get stuff out of my storage area. And ideally, I have multiple storage areas. So I'd like to condense them into one. Any cams for an LT1? I'll have to look. I did some LT1 testing, so I can take a look and see. I might have some ported LT1 heads. Estimated power, LQ4, 706 heads, 224 cam. Yeah, 9, that's probably pretty close. 475 is probably close. I was hoping free valve would take off. Yeah, that's not going to be a thing. I have a couple cam motion cams, small ones, because I included those in the cam test that I did. I have a crosswind dual plane and a 600 CFM Edelbrock. That's good. That's the perfect kind of thing for a... Oh, I also have a small Edelbrock carburetor. I'm thinking 650 horsepower to do 200 at Bonneville on 69 Camaro. Yeah, it's not very aero, but 650 should do it. Pac 1218s would work for them. I think so, yeah. I've not personally used those Pac 1218s. I know that they're real common. I just have never tried them. Any 5.3 bottom end stuff, they're all $1,000 around here. Just stock stuff, but not any aftermarket stuff. Kind of open-ended, sorry. The mongoose question, trying to keep safe, low-end torque as much as possible. Well, the 1500 horsepower thing and then the big turbo is not conducive to low-end torque. That's actually not a good combination for street driving. I would pick a much smaller turbo than that and a milder camshaft. I have an LM7 stock crank, forged rod, 6125, and pistons 3780. That's a good combination. Just a forged rod and piston thing. But it's 3780 though. It's a standard bore. Any ported LS heads you're trying to sell? Nope, no ported LS heads. I've got some 799s though that have springs on them. Try again. How does a Cam Motion 6-liter stage 2 LS truck camshaft compared to the truck Norris? I don't know. I'd never run that specific camshaft. What cam will be good for a daily driver? 750 horsepower. Is that with a turbo? Twin turbo, 6262. And what motor is that, Steven? Get your Fox back on the road. It's not in that storage area. Do you have the TPIS mini RAM? No, I never had that. I never had one of those. Richard, couldn't you use a torque storm on your truck? I could, but I'm not going to. Is Koenigsegg going to get free valve to work? I don't. It's Koenig, or the free valve thing. I don't think is ever going to be a mass-produced thing that we all get to enjoy. I know she usually run the fast EFI. Actually, Nick, I normally run Holly. I run Holly, HP, and Dominator way more than fast. I haven't run a fast XFI thing on for a really long time. Pretty sure they're already running them. What size turbo do you recommend for a 408 street motor? 1500 wheel horsepower that had turbo left over from a different build. That's fine, but a 1500 horsepower single turbo is not going to be a good street turbo. It's not going to. You're never going to be using 1500 horsepower on the street. So, and this is just me. So you get to do it the way that you want. You could have your 1500 horsepower turbo. You can have a big camshaft. You can have a 408. That helps. But 1500 horsepower is going to be 30 pounds of boost or more. And I don't see very many people doing that on the street. I don't see anybody hooking that up on the street. So if you pick that size turbo for a street application and then you turn it down to 10 pounds or something and drive it around, it's not a good combination. A much better combination is a turbo that's designed to make near what you're making at 10 pounds. You can never make the 1500 with it, but there's always going to be a trade-off one way or the other. Looking for a good cam for my LS 408 stroker. Car will be a fun driver. Yeah, Kevin, I have cams for that. Just send me an email. Turbo 408 stroker, C4 Corvette, street strip car, 799 heads, aiming for 1,000 wheel horsepower. That's not hard. It would be, want to be competitive at the track, but also be reliable and fun driving on the street. The 219 cam would be fine. It will easily make that power, and it will be responsive. The Corvette or the turbo is going to determine how competitive the thing is at the track. LT4 hot cam for a 400 small block with modified Vortec heads. That's what you're wanting to put on, because I don't have any of those. Any LS truck injectors? I have LS truck injectors, but they're not over 42 pounds. I feel like 1,000 plus wheel horsepower stuff you need, and an R35 GTR or something that when it's still spinning, it goes reasonably straight. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you can't have 1,000 plus horsepower street stuff. You can, but 1,500 is a different thing, and especially with a single turbo. Do you have a recommendation between Holly versus HP, or are they more application specific? Holly makes HP. It's a EFI system, if that's what you're talking about. Are you confused about that? Want to do twin GT45s. Twin GT45s is 1,500 horsepower with a turbo. What's the best transmission to put behind a Gen 6 looking? I'm not the transmission guy, so I'm the wrong guy to ask about that. The transmission, the power part of it's really easy. The transmission part of it's going to be expensive. Whatever happened to the Pontiac 4-cylinder? It's ready. I just haven't run it yet. When putting the Gen 4 flat top rods and pistons in an LQ4 with a fluid dampener, do I have to have it balanced? Yes, you should. It's going to be out of balance if you don't. Any LS manifolds, specifically Holly or LSXR manifolds? Nope, no LSXR. I don't think I have any Holley manifolds either. Nitrous outlet brand stuff. I don't have any nitrous outlet. I have nitrous express stuff. I have some NOS stuff. I have some ZEC stuff probably. Is it necessary to change the bearings on the roller rockers on LS? Every motor I've ever run on the dyno has had the factory rockers and no trunnion upgrades. So when I recommend guys doing trunnion upgrades is on some of these real high mileage ones, not because I think that the thing needs a trunnion upgrade necessarily to make it better than it was when it was factory, but it's factory at 100, 200, or 300,000 miles. It's got a lot of wear. It's got a lot of cycles in it. So it's a good idea maybe just to bush that to get it back to like its factory spec. The cams you've tested, what would be the most fun in a daily driver LY6? Are you going to continue with VVT on that? Or are you swapping that out? Are there any good tunes for an MSD 614? I need to find out how to delete the map. Could be pulling timing. It's not necessarily a tune. I mean, I could tell you where to put your timing in an MSD if it doesn't have the map hooked up. We just do it by RPM. It's very easy. Building an 8,000 RPM LS, what would you pay very close attention to? What parts would you say are necessary to be livable at that RPM? Well, I don't think that, like when you say you want an 8,000 RPM motor, are you out racing it at 8,000 RPM on a road race course, like out at the Silver State? Are you endurance racing it? What exactly are you doing? Are you doing 8-second quarter mile blasts at 8,000? Are you driving it around all the time on the street and revving it to 8,000? Like, I don't know what you're doing, because getting a motor to rev to 8,000 is not that hard. But getting it to last a long time at 8,000 is expensive. You're going to delete VVT? Yeah, so the truck Norris cam, the low buck truck is a good application for that. I don't have a progressive controller for nitrous. Do you have a blow-through carb? Nope. Any small block Chevy heads or cams, and what is the best bang for the buck for flat tappet wanting to make 400 horsepower? For a small block Chevy, depending on what you're starting with, it's probably going to need heads and a cam. You could go with junkyard Vortec heads, but you're going to have to do some machining to heads to make it work. Nick, is there a specific reason why I use Holley HP? Yeah, it's what I've learned. I've learned fast, and I've learned Holley HP, and we have it, and it's easy for me to tune. I could do it all by myself. So it's a good way to facilitate all the testing. The tuning part of it takes nothing. That's not part of the program. The tuning part of it is just the baseline. And then I start changing a bunch of parts. And every time I change it, we re-optimize the tune. Primarily with most of this testing, it's just air fuel. Because if I take an LS and I put a different camshaft in it, it doesn't want the timing isn't going to be any different. It doesn't want, it's still, that chamber design still wants 29 degrees of timing. So it's not like I have to retune everything. And even if I did, it's like, hey, did it want more timing? Oh no, it didn't do anything. Did it want less timing? Oh no, it didn't like that. That's all, that's one run that it takes to do that. But having done this for 30 years now, I know that when we put the timing curve in and we do a series of cams, they're not going to want anything different. If we change the cam and we go from a stock cam to a performance cam, and the performance cam adds 60 horsepower, it's going to need more fuel. And we just add the necessary fuel. So now if it was at 12.8 with a stock cam, we just want it to be at 12.8 with the new cam. And then we add the necessary fuel to make it do that. But it's very easy and very fast, especially since I'm only doing it at wide open throttle. What's the most horsepower you can get out of a Gen 6 naturally aspirated? I don't know. The thing that's going to be limiting you is camshaft. You only have a certain amount of piston to valve clearance. And then when you add a better cylinder head, or you could port the stock ones, but if you add a better cylinder head, lots of those better cylinder heads have bigger combustion chambers. So you're reducing the compression when you're adding more airflow. So there are some limitations with that. Any heads, cam, and intake for a stock bottom end 302, looking to start a small build for my daughter. I don't think I have anything other than like GT40 heads or something. If you were to build a basic budget, mostly street, weekend race truck, turbo 6-liter, what would be your favorite combo? I don't have a favorite combo, but there are lots and lots of combos that will give you between 700 and 1,000 horsepower. How you get there is you could pick lots and lots of different cams from Texas Speed or Brian Tooley or Cam Motion or anybody. You could even get to 700 with a stock cam. So the turbo is going to dictate that. And then what individuals want in terms of, okay, I have a turbo motor. Do I want it to have, you know, do I want people to hear the camshaft? Do I care about what the drivability is? Do I care about the fuel mileage? All that other stuff, that's just going to be individualized. When you get the answer you need, but it's not the wallet that you want to hear, yeah. I mean, there's not a cheap way for high RPM stuff. That's why a 6,500 RPM LS with a turbo on it is a really good combination. So with my current setup, would 225 wheel horsepower be possible with an XE268? Yeah, unless you have a lot of drivetrain loss, but that's a realistic number. Nick, happy to help. Are you ever going to do any tuning videos? I have lots of videos up on the effect of tuning. I don't do tuning. I'm not a tuner. I can't go out and tune your car and have it drive around and do all the things you want it to do. I don't do that. I do wide open throttle. I have videos up that show you what happens when you don't have enough timing in it, and then we go up in successive steps in timing until we get to the right timing. We don't go more than right timing. If you have too much, then you start breaking stuff. I have videos up that show also the same thing with air fuel. What happens when you run it at an NA motor at 10 to 1, 11 to 1, 12 to 1, 13 to 1? What happens when you do that? It shows the effect of because that's all that it is. At wide open throttle, it's only two things. It's air fuel and timing. On some motors that have variable cam timing, you have to swing that also like you do with ignition timing, but that's not any more difficult. Saw something cool drive by. Was it the little red? Was that a Honda or something? I have a small Elbrock carburetor. Was there a Super that went by? I didn't even see it. I'm only paying attention to video. Roller cam recommendation for a 318, now 390 stroker in a 93 Dodge truck with an auto trans. I like a 260 or 268, that kind of thing. Pontiac heads with Beehive LS springs, a plus 50 locks will give you 560 lift clearance with no machining. Yeah, but if you go plus 50 on it, you're going to take away some of the spring rate. Richard, want me to put your email up here? Yeah, Sykes, you can do that. I don't have any 750 or 800 carbs, I don't think. I think that these are smaller than that. My max goal is 300 wheel horsepower. Yeah, that's going to be hard to get. With a manual trans, you might be able to do that. I wanted your personal build. Yeah, that's not really important for people learning about how to build their own thing. Factory parts because my build is stock. So my 2002 Silverado is all stock. So that's my build. That's what works best for me. Factory parts on my vehicle won't constantly take 4 times the power they were designed for reliably. I know. There goes a little Mercedes and a Mini Cooper. How do you pay for the cams? You use the email address and then go to PayPal. When you go to PayPal, make sure, don't put it in an email. When you go to PayPal, make sure you include your name, your shipping address, and the cam that you want. See, Westech is over there running a big block right now. You can hear it. I need help with the RPM timing for the sloppy stage 2 on an MSD. Can I dial in custom 1? I don't know. I need to see what the different designations are. Yeah, I'm gonna say you have to put at AOL. Hit the like, show some love. Yeah, Sykes, it went through okay. Just it went through as 2 of them. Price for the 219 is $169 shipped. Oh, forklift guys bringing forklifts in. I need to go see what big block they're doing. They have a nice 69 Z28 over there too right now. And somebody just brought some kind of Porsche in. Will AFR Enforcer ASCAS get me closer and flat top pistons? Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know that I don't think that cam will get you to 400 flywheel. But if that thing was 10-to-1, you'd get a lot closer. And look at the Skip White stuff too. The low buck truck is $169 shipped. Can you make a 4.8 make the torque that a 5.3 has? Not down low, you can't. I've been able to get close with some top secret stuff that I did with an intake manifold, but otherwise not really. 540 seems the new entry level for big blocks. Yeah, I mean, if you're working with a stock block, then 496s are the way to go. But if it's an aftermarket block, I don't know why anybody would build a 502. You definitely build a 540. No AMC parts. I don't think I have any of those, unless something crosses over from a small block Chevy. I think it's a 219 to mid 220s, I think, and 585 lift, if I remember right. Do you have a Summit Stage 4 LS cam? Nope. More displacement equals more power. Yeah, it's hard to get the low speed power. Like if you look at the video that I have up on the 4.8, the 5.3, and the 6.0, where they're all stock, you can see, oh yeah, it's pretty easy to see why the bigger motors feel better in the truck, because they, you know, for the guys that want the off-idle 600 RPM, you know, torque, they have that. They have more power everywhere because they're bigger. And that's the easiest way. Obviously, Boost does that too. And then things like compression and, you know, headers and other things can kind of do that too, but not to the extent that Boost or displacement does, especially not down there. You can get really good gains from cams and things on the other end of the RPM scale, but not down at 2,000. The one thing also that helps that's not related to power production is the converter. The converter helps a lot. I was told that a 268 was almost too big for daily driving. Not on a 350. Do you have springs? I don't have springs, not yet. I will be getting some, but I haven't sourced them yet. But Brian Tooley Racing has them. Everybody has them. Summit has them. Everybody has an inexpensive beehive spring that will work fine. $540 big block, enough torque to twist the chassis. 8.2 block 502 makes it cheaper to build a 540. What's an 8.2 block? Half field LQ9 408 with the maximum horsepower that will live at, abused on the street and some track. I don't know. There's lots of guys running around with 1,000 horsepower and stuff like that. The half filled thing for street use is the thing that I'd be worried about. I'd be worried about cooling. What is the Godzilla question? Try to turbo a TBI 350. I would like to. back in the day, they had blower kits for those. I didn't see any turbo stuff, but they had the additional fuelers blowing fuel into it, and you know, you're limited in a throttle body setup. Do you have any rules of thumb when gapping rings for a turbo? Yeah, it's 6.5 thousandths per inch of bore. I've done way more than that, but 6.5 thousandths works good. 6.5 thou, as they say. Got 2 more minutes. Is anybody watching going to the LS Fest West? How would you build an LQ9 for max horsepower? I have endless 6-liter videos up on the channel to show you how to make power with 6-liter stuff. Is there a difference in the GM Gen 5 502 big block versus the Mercury Marine? GM never offered a 502 from the factory, so are you talking about aftermarket ones? Talking about like GM performance ones or something? Have you seen the Slant 6 on engine power? Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. They do good stuff over there. Do BTR Truck Norris NSR, no springs required, give you the same power? I have a video up where we tested the Truck Norris versus the NSR version, and the NSR version's down about 5 or 6 horsepower. Not very much. Is ring gap for nitrous and boost the same? I do. I use the same ring gap for that. Got any bigger than 236 duration LS cams? Probably not. No Whipple or Magnus and stuff. Nope. Have you ever seen an AMR 500? Yeah, I have videos up on it. Speaking of big blocks, Cletus's latest video has me wanting the Summit 632 package. I'm in the wrong hemisphere to make LS Fest West. Yeah. Yep, I'd like to do a 632. I kind of want to do something different than other people have been doing. 1 more minute. Get your questions in. Suppose I gotta plug this in. Parts counter, yep. No Kenny Bell stuff. Or most of your small block cams hydraulic roller. I don't even know if I have any small block cams. I need to look. No GM superchargers. I've never run any of those. I think that the GM crate motor is 1,000. Yeah, unique is expensive. Talk Freiburg into buying a 632 for you to play with. I don't want to do the crate motor one. I want to do something different than that. 1,004, yeah, that's what I thought. That's good power. Lots of cubic inches, good head flow, lots of camshaft, compression, all the stuff you need. It's an intake on a 408 or at an LSA. Well, the heads and intake will be less. Do you already have a camshaft for it? Gem 82 is a 502 block. It's a Gen 6 block with a 4500 bore. Oh, so that's what I mean. It's an aftermarket block, right? You already have a cam for it? Okay. Hear the big block? Big block Chevy in the house. Big block Chevy in the house. I don't know what the torque number is on the 632. It's got to be up there. Just came in from watching the Greg Quinn video on the direct injected 8100. Does Freiberger have a 471? Is a chopper copper cam for forced induction? Yeah, you can use it on anything. You can use it on turbo, blower, nitrous, all of it. I need a cam for a 5.3. I have them. Just send me an email. And we will get you hooked up. And then when I get back from this trip, which will be in a week or so or less, I'll get back on and we'll talk about all the things I have. I'll go through a whole list of stuff. How much benefit is variable cam timing? It could be, it's quite a bit on the new Gen 5 LT stuff, and it's much more of a benefit. Trucks making noise. It's much more of a benefit for other things like drivability and emissions and but it also helps with average power production. Thomas, I don't have an NSR cam. David does. It's a well-built 471, no Teflon in it. Okay, I didn't know that. I'll have to send him a message. For your closing, what's the best no probe ever king of all snakes? One that I wouldn't catch? I don't know if there's a snake that I wouldn't catch. Maybe a black mamba or something. Can I do your typical carb swap on an L21? Is there anything I have to do to use a distributor? I think that it has a drive down inside of it that you have to take out, but after that, there's nothing. I want to see a big block Ford versus a big block Chevy 632 face-off. Yeah, that'd be really big money. How are you going to do a 632 big block Ford? Is it an aftermarket block too? Gold Lance, Mojave Green. Any sort of rattlesnake would not be a problem. Almost all of the snakes would not be a problem. I just don't have any experience with some of these exotic ones. Yeah, black mambas are fast. Yeah, I just don't have, I don't have any experience with those. But we caught all the, I would definitely catch a copperhead, cottonmouth, all of the rattlesnakes. I'd like to see a really big eastern diamondback. I think that would be awesome. A coral snake would be, anything in the United States would not be a problem. If I had a wetsuit on, maybe a sea snake. Would a 502 cam be okay with stock heads? I think it would. It fit in the, I think that's an okay cam for a like the L29, so it should work in an L21. Mojave greens are aggressive. I've never seen an aggressive rattlesnake. I've seen defensive ones. I've never seen a snake that knocks on your door and wants you to come out and fight. I've seen some that people surprise and then they'll strike at you, but they're doing that because everything else in the world wants to eat them, and so it's a defensive thing. They don't recognize people as anything but something that would want to hurt them. They don't go, oh, I'm going to show this guy because he's afraid. Snakes don't do that. Do we get a discount if you buy 2 cams? You're already getting a heck of a discount. You get to buy 2 cams. JPL, what's going on? I was looking at the 3800 stuff today too. Waiting to get my block back so I can get it back together. And while I'm down here, at the very least, I also want to get the Mopar, the Magnum, together and ready to test, ready for some boost and a cam and springs. On that note, it is time to go. If you're looking for a cam, please send me an email. I'll put it in the description of this video, and I will see you guys all tonight.